Good Saturday night, ladies and gentlemen. How you doing? I am Kendrick, the sports guy, and welcome to Saturday Night Buzz, where we talk a little sports. Saturday night sports talk. Again, I am Kendrick, the sports guy. I hope you all are having a great weekend. Beautiful day today in the Lone Star State, East Texas. We got up almost to 90 degrees. It was cloudy for a little bit, then the sun peeked back out, then it got cloudy again. But it was a nice, cool. No, I ain't gonna say cool. It was perfect for me because, as you know, I like warm weather. But it was a great day today in East Texas and in Texas as a whole. Again, I'm Kendrick, the sports guy. I hope you guys are enjoying the last weekend in April. Next weekend will be actually next Friday will be May the 1st. We will be getting closer and closer to Mother's Day. So everybody is trying to make their plans to make sure they take care of mama on her special day. So again, we're talking a little sports. We're going to be doing the NFL Draft 2026 recap. It just ended a few hours ago. We're going to talk about the NBA playoffs, an update on what's happening. We got the Nuggets and the T-Wolves going down. They playing right now on ABC with the Nuggets up by 5. And I think that's going to be a tough series. I think that series probably is going to go 7. And then, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to talk a little entertainment news that's mixed with sports. We got a breakup, a celebrity breakup, man. Dang it. I was hoping they make it too. We're going to talk about that later, though. But we got a celebrity breakup. One is from Texas. The other is from California. But anyway, we're going to talk about that just to end the show, end this tonight's talk with some entertainment and just some other stuff that I may freestyle off the top of the dome. But first and foremost, we're going to kick it off with the NFL Draft 2026. We're going to recap it. It is in the books. We'll start with who was Mr. Irrelevant. I believe the 257th pick. You know, that's a history thing. That's a historic. The NFL. The last pick of the draft is named Mr. Irrelevant, and this year's Mr. Irrelevant will be a Bronco for a while, and that is linebacker Red Murdoch out of Buffalo. He was the last pick in this draft by the Denver Broncos. Again, a linebacker out of the University of Buffalo. Do you know who used to coach the University of Buffalo? Used to be Turner Gill, former Nebraska legendary quarterback. And oh, by the way, before we get more deep into the NFL draft, make sure you come in, make sure you like, subscribe to the channel. That is TFG. Oh, yeah, TFG Sports Media as well. That's another media group that I work with. Really, yeah. Make sure you go over there and check out TFG Media stuff. But subscribe to Kendrick Sports also right here. Doesn't cost you a dime. Like it, comment. Let me know where you're watching from. Also, if you're watching me on Facebook, make sure you like and follow Kendrick Sports Hustle as well as TFG Sports Media. Share it to all your social media platforms. You can also follow me on Instagram at Kendrick1969. And you can follow me on TikTok at Kendrick Henderson51. I did my live stream earlier on TikTok, and we had a doggone good time over there. So again, if you're watching me on YouTube, make sure you like, make sure you comment, let me know where you're watching from so we can engage a little bit, as well as on Facebook. Don't be hiding in the bushes. I see there's 7 people watching. Don't know which medium you're watching this on, but comment. Let me know where you're watching from. Who's your team if you into the NFL, so I can give you a shout out so we can engage a little bit. Like I say, and again, hit that thumbs up button. Doesn't cost you a dime. Subscribe. That doesn't cost you a dime either. Kendrick Sports Hustle. And share it to all your social media platforms. So let's get right down to it. NFL Draft 2026 is done. It is in the books. I think there's no surprise who was going to be the number 1 draft pick. The Raiders were on the clock, and it didn't take long for them to choose quarterback Fernando Mendoza, the Heisman Trophy winner, as well as the national champ out of Indiana University with the number 1 pick. And the first round had a lot of trades. Matter of fact, 8 of them To give you a number, it was 8 trades in the first round. And oh, by the way, there was a change this season as well in this year's draft. Instead of having 10 minutes between picks, you only had 8. So if you notice, if you were able to watch that first round on Thursday, if you notice, it went by pretty quick. They're trying to speed up the time. We got somebody on. What's up, Eric? Hi, how you doing? Hope you're having a good Saturday night. Let me know where you're watching from and who's your team if you are into the NFL. So that was one of the changes this year in the NFL draft. Again, you only had 8 minutes to make a pick, down from 10 minutes the last few years. In rounds 2 through 7, you only had 5 minutes. So that was unchanged. But again, the NFL draft is over. The first round, I thought that it went way. I thought that most of those teams, if I had to get a passing grade on first round picks, I think every team pretty much they did a hell of a job. All except I think the Rams reached a little bit with their 13th pick. I don't think that Ty Simpson, and this is no diss to Ty Simpson, former Alabama quarterback, I thought the Rams reached a little bit by taking him at 13 with the 13th pick. But I know Matthew Stafford is aging a little bit. He's up in age. He's 38. But I still think you could have got Ty Simpson probably later on in the draft. But again, that was the only one I think that had a lot of people scratching their heads, including the NBA draft gurus. But beside that, I think most of these teams, if I had to, grade all 32, I would give most of them a passing grade. You had quite a few teams that had multiple first-round draft picks, i.e. the New York Jets had multiple. I think the Dallas Cowboys had multiple. The Giants had multiple first-round draft picks, just to name a few. And I think they did what they needed to do. They drafted for need to show up some things in there. Let's see what he's Angel. Hi, I know it's hard when not a lot of people watch the live stream. Oh, thank you, Angel. I appreciate that. Appreciate the encouragement. And it you know what? I have a passion for what I do. I love sports. I've always, since I was a little kid. So I love talking sports. So if nobody's watching, it doesn't matter to me. I'm going to still do my thing. And maybe there's some people watch the replay, but if they don't catch it live, that's cool too. If they do, that's cool too. I ain't going to sweat it. I'm just going to continue to do what I do because I have a passion for it. So I really appreciate that. Thank you for the encouragement. I hope you are having a good day too. And let me know where you're watching from, by the way. But again, the NFL Draft 2026, again, is in the books. The first round went like it should have. But I would tell you, here's the theme of the draft. If you're watching, you can see on the ticker, I have the picks. The first round picks are scrolling in the ticker beneath, so you can see who went where. But here was the theme of this year's draft. I actually went and I just I ain't gonna say I studied, but I observed all rounds and the two positions that were under the spotlight or were the deepest probably positions of all of them was edge rushers and wide receivers. Those players were coming off the board quicker than Usain Bolt in a 100-meter dash. A lot of edge rushers and a lot of wide receivers were picked. Just to give you an idea, as far as edge rushers, there were 5 picked in the first round. There were 6 picked in the second round. There were 3 picked in the third round. There were 4 picked in the fourth round, 2 picked in the fifth round, 1 picked in the sixth round, and 5 picked in the seventh round. So all total, there were 26 edge rushers selected in this year's draft. And there was a lot of good ones. David Bailey, edge out of Texas Tech. He went number 2 to the New York Jets. We had linebacker. Actually, Arvell Reese could kind of be considered a mix of an edge linebacker. He went number 5 to the New York Giants. Reuben Bain Jr. A lot of people, he dropped a little bit. He went number 15 to the Tampa Bay Bucks. He actually stayed in Florida, straight out of Miami. The reports were out there that they feel like his arms, according to these draft scouts, his arms were short. That may be one of the reasons why he dropped to 15 and he went to Tampa Bay. Then we have Akeem Mesidor out of Miami, his teammate. He went number 22 to the LA Chargers. Then Malachi Lawrence. Cowboys picked him with the 23rd pick, edge rusher out of UCF. So those were some of the edge rushers that were picked in the first round. And speaking of first round, Ohio State should be feeling pretty good about themselves because they put a lot of their players went in the first round. Matter of fact, I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 Ohio State Buckeyes went in the top 11 picks. That's just the top 11. You had Titans got wide receiver Carnell Tate out of Ohio State. Then at number 5, the Giants took Arvell Reese, linebacker out of Ohio State. Then Sonny Styles, linebacker, again out of the Ohio State, went to the Commanders at number 7. Then Caleb Downs, safety out of the Ohio State, went to those Dallas Cowboys. So Ohio State, they had a lot of talented players that went in the first 11 picks of the first round of this year's draft. Now, I would just mention how this was a edge rusher, wide receiver heavy draft. Well, the wide receivers were deep too. This was a deep position. According to all the scouts and all the draft gurus, the wide receivers, you will be able to get a quality one. There was quite a few that went. There were 5 wide receivers went in the first round. There were 3 that went in the second round. There were 9, counted 9 went in the third round, 6 in the fourth round, 4 in the fifth round, 7 in the sixth round, and 2 in the seventh round. All total, there were 36 wide receivers picked in this year's draft. So that position, you got some quality guys. I just mentioned in the first round, Carnell Tate went to the Titans at number 4. Also, Jordan Tyson, wide receiver out of Arizona State. He went number 8 to the New Orleans Saints. And who else? Mekhi Lemon. The Eagles actually moved up in the first round to take him, wide receiver out of USC. Casey Concepcion went to the Cleveland Browns at number 24, straight out of Texas A&M. So those were some of the first round wide receivers that went. So again, this theme of this draft was edge rushers and wide receivers. So again, very, very productive draft. It wasn't heavy on quarterbacks, obviously. Fernando Mendoza went number 1 to the Raiders. Ty Simpson went number 13 to the Rams. Then you would eventually have some come off the board. Carson Beck would eventually come off the board. He was at Miami. He went to the Arizona Cardinals. I think Drew Allman, I think I'm saying his name right. He went to the Steelers. I want to say he went in either the 3rd or 4th round. Then we had some other. Garrett Nussmeier finally went. He went in the 7th round to the Kansas City Chiefs. Garrett Nussmeier out of LSU. And some other quarterbacks went too. But this was not a quarterback-heavy draft at all. Most experts said that next year's draft will be the year of the quarterback. So those were just a few quarterbacks I had to name. I'm going to name another one, but I'm going to lump him into our East Texas connection that actually went. He wasn't drafted. He went undrafted, but we're going to talk about him along with some of the other East Texas players that were drafted on today. So my thoughts on it, I'm a Packers fan, I have to say. Obviously, and I'm happy with our draft. I'm happy with the picks. We didn't have any first-round picks because of that Michael Parsons trade that went down. We got Michael Parsons for the Cowboys, but we gave up 2 first-round draft picks, this year's first rounder and next year's first rounder, so we won't have one next year either, unless we will and deal and do something. But we didn't have any first-round picks, but we started doing the Packers started doing the thing in the second round, took cornerback Brandon Cece out of South Carolina. In the third round, Packers would take Chris McClellan, an offensive tackle out of Missouri. Then in the fourth round, Dennis Sutton, an edge rusher out of Penn State. Fifth round, Jager Burton, center out of Kentucky. In the sixth round at 201, Damani Jackson, cornerback out of Alabama. And then in that 6th round, the Packers took Trey Smack, place kicker out of Florida, and that was the last pick for the Packers. So again, we address what I keep saying we, like I'm in the management, but I'm a Packers fan. I always got to tell people, Wisconsin born, Texas raised, 414, Bruce City, baby, all day. But again, the Packers, I would say if I had to grade this draft, considering with no first round picks, we made some movement, I would give the Packers, I give the Packers a B with this draft. So it's time to get to work now. We got OTAs coming up. Now let's talk about the Cowboys. I'm in East Texas. I'm in Tyler, Texas. If you watch this later, just to give you an idea where Tyler is, it's an hour and a half east of the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, and it's an hour west of Shreveport, Louisiana, and then about 3.5 hours north of Houston, Texas. So I'm in Cowboys country. Been here for a while. My background is television news, sports, videography. I worked in the industry for almost 30 years. I worked at the local ABC affiliate here in Tyler at KLTV, the ABC affiliate again. I also worked in the Dallas-Fort Worth market at the CBS affiliate, KTVT, for a year or so. But I've been in Cowboys country for a minute. I covered the Dallas Cowboys training camp, started in 1999 when they were holding it in Wichita Falls. Then they would eventually go to San Antonio. Then they would eventually go to Oxnard. So I'm well versed on the Cowboys and been around that organization for a while. So the Cowboys, I thought they knocked it out the park. I thought they did a great job, especially in the first round. I think they did a great job in the first round. Let me see who we got here. Who is that? Easy. I got somebody. Aziz8048. What's happening? Thanks for popping in, watching me on YouTube. Let me know where you're watching from. Appreciate the, I guess that's the hook 'em horn sign, if I'm not mistaken. I believe that's what that is. That's the hook 'em horn sign. But I think the Cowboys did. I think they definitely did have a hell of a draft. The one thing I would say about the Cowboys, they do know how to draft. They draft pretty decent. I would say that. Again, and I can say that with, again, I'm a Packers fan. I'm not a Cowboys fan, but I'm not a Cowboys hater, but I can give them credit. I think they do a pretty good deal with their draft. Will McClay has done a hell of a job, I thought, with getting players. But the Cowboys, again, I thought they did a hell of a job with their first 2 picks. Obviously, they took Caleb Downs, moved up 1 spot to get him at number 11. Again, out of Ohio State. Then at number 23, they took the edge rusher, Malachi Lawrence, out of UCF. Then the 3rd round, they took Jayshon Barham. He's an edge rusher out of Michigan. I had a Cowboys fan really not happy about that pick. He says he does earlier when I was doing my TikTok live. He says earlier he doesn't like Michigan players. I don't know why. I like players. I don't give a damn for where they from. If they can get on the field and play, I could care less. But he said he wasn't really happy about that pick. Then in the 4th round, the Cowboys took Drew Shelton, the offensive tackle out of Penn State, and Devin Moore, cornerback out of Florida. I had another Cowboys fan, wasn't really keen on him as well because he's injury prone. But they took a cornerback again. They're addressing needs. If you can tell, they definitely going defensive heavy, considering that defense last season ranked in the bottom half in the league in a lot of categories. As I said, they couldn't stop a nosebleed. That is the Cowboys defense. But I think their new defensive coordinator, Christian Parker, looks like he's getting ready to try to put his hands all over it. And it looks like Jerry and Stephen Jones, I think the legendary Bill Parcells said, if you want me to cook, you got to at least let me buy the groceries. So I think Jerry and Stephen is letting Christian Parker, they buying the groceries so they want to let him cook. So that's what it looks like thus far. So there you have it. But in the 7th round, the Cowboys took at 218 Anthony Smith, a wide receiver out of East Carolina. I forgot to leave out. In the 4th round, the Cowboys also took LT Overton, an edge rusher out of Alabama. So just looking at the Cowboys draft on paper, I would give them an A. I think they addressed their needs. They were heavy on defense, which I think most people said they needed to do. I don't know, Cowboys fans, if you watch this, if you're watching now, comment, let me know you happy with them going defensive heavy, which I think they should have, in my opinion. So that's what the Cowboys did. Now let's talk about that team that's in the southern part of Texas. Those Texans coming off a disappointing playoff run. This team, I thought, had the elements to get to the Super Bowl, especially with that defense they got. But offensively, C.J. Stroud, he showed up at the worst time. He had his worst performance during the playoffs, but that Texas defense is still top notch. What did they do in the draft? Well, in the first round, they took Keelan Rutledge, offensive guard out of Georgia Tech, with the 26th pick. In the second round, they took in the 36th pick, they took Caden McDonald, a defensive tackle out of what? The Ohio State. In that same second round, they took Marlon Klein, tight end out of Michigan. Then in the fourth round, they took, I'm going to butcher this name, Fabichi Nuaiwu. I believe I got close. Offensive guard out of Oklahoma in the fourth round. Also in the fourth round, they took Wade Wooders, linebacker out of Clemson. In the fifth round, they took Kamari Ramsey, a safety out of USC. In the sixth round, with the 204th pick, they took Lewis Bond, wide receiver out of Boston College. And in the seventh round, with the 243rd pick, the Texans took Aiden Fisher, linebacker out of Indiana. So those picks, the Texans again, they ended their season disappointed. I'm sure. So they getting ready to try to get back to work. Looking at their draft, definitely, I think they need some wide receivers. I was reading something earlier. I think I saw Nico Collins might be having some issues with contracts. I don't know. But I definitely know they need to shore up that offensive line a little bit to protect C.J. Stroud and get a running game. But they did. Who's the running back that signed with the Texans? Because Joe Mixon, they released him, but they signed the running back, and I can't remember who it was. But the Texans, if they can get that run game going, I think defensively he's stout. I think they just signed Will Anderson Jr. To that big contract. He's now the highest paid defensive player in NFL history. They got Danielle Hunter over there on the other side making big money. They got them linebackers, Stingley Jr. in the secondary. So the Houston Texans, defensively, they are stacked. All they need to do is get some things going on the offensive side, more specifically, shore up that offensive line. So, again, that's just a little bit of recap of the NFL Draft 2026. It went down in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Steel City. And it looks like Pittsburgh was a great host city. Speaking of Pittsburgh, they drafted a quarterback, like I said earlier, Drew Allman out of Penn State. Still don't know what they're going to be doing with the quarterback position because Aaron Rodgers hadn't made his decision up yet. The new head coach, who was his former head coach in Green Bay, by the way, Mike McCarthy, they have been in conversations, according to all reports, but Aaron Rodgers has not made a definite decision if he's going to come back and play. What would this be? His 21st season? Something like that? 20th season? So that's where we at with that. So again, I thought the draft, again, if I had to rate, just looking at the teams and their picks, if I had to rate them, I think most of the teams did pretty good. Even the Cleveland Browns surprised a lot of people. The Cleveland Browns made a pick. They picked a quarterback in the 6th or 7th round. The one that everybody was gushing over, Taylor Green out of Arkansas. He's a Cleveland Brown. I think they picked him in the 7th round. 6'6", 225, 230. He wowed everyone at the combine. I think he jumped 43-inch vertical leap. I think he ran like a 4.40 or something like that. And he got the physical tools. So now that's going to be another crowded quarterback room for Todd Monken. With Shadur Sanders and Deshaun Watson and Dylan Gabriel already there. Now you add this kid, which I think he's a project. I don't see him being the next Cleveland Browns starting quarterback, but he's definitely no project. He's definitely got the physical tools, or possibly even move to another position. Let me see who we got in here. Oh, we got okay. Never mind. We got somebody in here want to play. Watching on on YouTube, but that's okay. It's all good in the neighborhood. So again, NFL Draft 2026 is in the books. Next up, teams will prepare for their OTAs. Some other news and notes. I will say my Packers did. They did extend wide receiver Jaden Reed on Friday. I want to say it's a 3-year, $50 million deal with $20 million guaranteed. Definitely did that. I wasn't mad about that at all. The Cowboys made a trade I didn't mention on yesterday. They made a trade with the 49ers. They got linebacker D. Winters. They traded him for a 5th-round pick. So they stacking their defense. They trying to make some moves, trying to improve that defense. And it needed it. And that, I don't think any Cowboys fans, if you watch this later, would be unhappy with the moves that you guys made in these last 3 days. Now, I got to talk about the East Texas draftees. I'm in Tyler, Texas, like I said earlier. So it's a lot of talented football players come out of East Texas. If you want to know, Texas is a football state, but it's damn sure a high school football state. And if you want to go see some good football, you come to East Texas, because it's some talented guys that's come out of here. Just to name a few: Adrian Peterson, the Hall of Famer, not Adrian Peterson, but Hall of Fame Earl Campbell is from Tyler, Texas. Adrian Peterson. I'm going to probably leave some people out. Trent Williams, the left tackle for the 49ers. He's straight out of Longview. We had Bobby Taylor, who played for the Eagles in the 90s. He's out of Longview. Tyler High, Aaron Ross, Super Bowl champ, with the Giants. Man, I could go on and on and on with all the talent that's come out of here. Patrick Mahomes, White House, Texas, Super Bowl MVP, Super Bowl champ. So it's so much talent in East Texas. They call it Beast Texas because of all the great football that's played here, from the biggest classification, 6A, to the lowest, 1A. It's always some talent here. But let's talk about the East Texas picks that came off the board. Jamard the Real McCoy, straight out of White House, Texas. I just mentioned he and Patrick Mahomes went to the same high school. Obviously, Mahomes a little bit older, I should say. He went in the 4th round. He dropped. A lot of scouts had McCoy as a 1st-round pick, but then there were some questions about injuries that came up, and he dropped to the 4th round. But he went top of the 4th round to the Las Vegas Raiders. He was out of Tennessee. His career there, he had 6 interceptions, 14 passes defended, 75 tackles, and now he is a Las Vegas Raider. That is Jermod McCoy, straight out of White House, Texas. Another East Texan that came off the board on today, Charles Demmons. He's not technically an East Texan, but he played at SFA. He's from Mesquite, Texas. Cornerback out of SFA. Oh, by the way, let me mention Jamal McCoy, 6 foot, 193 pounds. Good size for a cornerback. Got to be matched up with these big, fast receivers coming up. Charles Demmons, again, cornerback out of Stephen F. Austin State University in Nacogdoches, Texas, the oldest town in the state. And it just so happens to be my late mother's birthplace, her hometown. That's where all my people is from. So on my mother's side. So that's why you'll hear me say Wisconsin born, Texas raised, because my peoples are from Nacogdoches, Texas. Well, Charles Demmons played cornerback for the Lumberjacks, 6'1", 190 pounds. He went in the 5th round with the 163rd pick to the Minnesota Vikings. So I will be seeing him, because the Vikings, you already know, is my Packers. That's a division rival. So he went in the 5th round. His career at SFA, he had 8 interceptions, 26 passes defended, and 64 tackles. Then let's move to Tyler. Jam Miller, running back from Alabama. He played at Tyler Legacy. He came off the board in the 7th round with the 245th pick, 5'10", 209 pounds. He went to the New England Patriots. In his 51 game, he played in 51 games at Alabama. This season, he had 130 carries, 504 yards, 3 TDs for the Crimson Tide. Now, Jam had some injuries over his career, But again, he came off the board on today in the 7th round. He will be a New England Patriot. So salute to those 3 young men that is now taking that next step in the NFL. But last but certainly not least, we have to talk about Haynes King. Straight out of Longview, Texas, won a state championship, played for his father, legendary John King, who's one of the best coaches in Texas high school football. He signed an undrafted free agent deal with the Carolina Panthers. He played his last, 2 seasons at Georgia Tech. If you don't know, Haynes actually started his career, his college career at Texas A&M. He was the ACC Player of the Year this past year. He had 3,209 yards in total offense, 2,967 passing, 953 rushing in his 12 games. In his 46 career games in college, he threw for 9,486 yards, 65 touchdowns, and he had a 65.6% completion percentage. So Haynes King, undrafted free agent, he's going to be hooking up with the Carolina Panthers. So salute to all 4 of those young men, and we wish them much success at the next level and hope that they will carve out a nice career and possibly bring another Super Bowl ring, a Super Bowl winner to East Texas. So that is the wrap up for tonight's my thoughts on NFL draft 2026 to recap. So again, next up now is OTAs, rookie mini camps will be starting, and we will be talking about NFL training camps kicking off here in about 2 months. So there you have it. So let's move to the NBA, which we have going on right now. We got a game going on right now on ABC, the Nuggets and the Timberwolves. And last I checked, the Nuggets were up, but we've already had some games played earlier today, and they are already in the books. And I must say, I hadn't paid a whole lot of attention to these playoffs. I mean, I watched them after the fact, just kind of looked at the box score here and there, but I hadn't paid a whole lot of attention to it, except for the one series. But let's talk about what happened today. Number 1 seed Pistons went down to Orlando, and they took an L, 113 and 105. The Magic got the victory. The Magic lead that series 2-1. My good brother Clarence Sean Williams picked the Magic to upset the Pistons in this series. And you know what? It looked like that might happen. But again, it's a 7-game series, and we'll see what happens. But again, the Magic got a big win to take a 2-1 series lead over the number 1 seeded Detroit Pistons, who are the number 1 seed in the East. As far as the Knicks and the Hawks, they also played today. The Hawks were up 2-1 in this series. The Knicks came out and they went ahead and played like they're supposed to play. They put them away. They put the Hawks away 114-98. That series is all tied up now at 2-2. And so we'll see what happens with them. And then again, the other number 1 seed that played earlier, the OKC Thunder versus the number 7 seed Phoenix Suns. They blew them out. They up 3-0 in that series. And yeah, that series is a wrap. That is the number 1 seed OKC Thunder over the number 7 seed Phoenix Suns. But we got to talk about Houston. And Houston, we got a problem. We got a big problem. The 4 seed Lakers, they took down them Rockets in overtime on Friday night. LeBron James led the way along with the rest of the fellas, Luke Kennard and Marcus Smart, DeAndre Ayton. They took them down, but we'll talk more about that in a minute. But number 2 Celtics, they beat the number 7 seed 76ers 108-100. The Celtics now lead that series 2-1. I think the Celtics gonna close that out pretty quick. The number 2 seed Spurs beat the number 7 Trailblazers 120-108. Spurs lead that series 2-1 without their defensive player of the year, Victor Wembanyama, who took a nasty, nasty fall with a concussion. I don't think he's quite clear concussion protocol just yet, but I think eventually he's probably going to be ready to go in his next game. But it looks like the Spurs may not even need him at this point, because I think that you can stick a fork in that series as well, because I think the Spurs are going to close that thing out here pretty soon over the Trailblazers, 120-108. But the series, man, like I said, Houston, we got a problem. The Lakers 112, the Rockets 108, and OT on Friday night. The Lakers lead this series 3-0. Kevin Durant didn't even play last night due to an ankle issue. And at this point, I want to hear from my Houston Rockets fans, because again, I'm not a fan of teams. I'm a fan of certain players. I was a Bulls fan when my GOAT MJ was still playing, but when he retired, I pretty much retired. But I follow players. But listen, man, Rockets fans, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but y'all got sold a bag of magic beans with Kevin Durant. And I'm not saying Kevin Durant isn't a great player. One of the most efficient players we've ever seen in the league. That's not even up for debate. I just think that when it comes to leading a team, to put a team on his back, yeah, he can do it on the hardwood when you're talking about putting the ball in the basket. If you need a bucket, yeah, that's the easy part. The part about being a winner, the difference between being a great player that can win and just a great player is here. It's about leadership. And I think the Rockets, again, I think they got sold some magic beans. I think Kevin Durant, again, I think he's a great player. But I never thought he was that dude. When I'm saying that dude, I never thought he was a dude that he could come in and be a leader of men. Not just on the court, but I'm just saying in his whole mentality. Because he kind of seems always been like blase. He kind of, in my mind, he kind of always sort of stiff-armed the leadership part. He was just about, which I get it. He's all about balling. Obviously, that's your job. I get that. But it's so much more than just the actual playing of the game when it's a team sport. It's a whole lot more to it, especially in basketball, because you got a smaller roster. It's 15 players. But Houston, yeah, again, you can stick a fork in that series too. That's a wrap. Ime Udoka, some people are questioning some of his moves as far as his rotations and all that, but some of the players just ain't showed up. The other night, Kevin Durant had 9 turnovers. You're not going to win a game like that. But hats off to the Lakers. To flip the script, we all thought the Lakers were toast. I know I did when it came down to not having Luka Doncic and not having Austin Reeves. And you was like, oh, man, they're going to have to lean on 41-year-old LeBron James to carry this team in this first series against Kevin Durant and the Rockets? Man, I didn't give the Lakers a shot, but boy, oh boy, they made a god doggone fool out of me. LeBron has played lights out. Again, I'm not the biggest LeBron fan. I respect his game. I think he's one of the greatest players that ever played. But I gotta tip my hat to him in this series. He hasn't overdone it either. He's kept the other players involved, and the other players have stepped up too. The Luke Kennards and the Marcus Smarts, DeAndre Aytons, just to name a few. The Jared Vanderbilts, the Rui Hachimuras. They've stepped up. I got to give a shout out to the Lakers. JJ Redick is our coach, Ime Udoka, I must say. So, shout out to these doggone Lakers, man. That's all I can say. What a way to, again, I know it ain't over, But dang it, that fat lady tuning up. If she ain't about ready to sing, she definitely going through. She's tuning up because I think this thing is a wrap. I don't see the Rockets beating this team 4 times in a row. I don't see it happening. They definitely gonna need a miracle. Yeah. So after that, man, I just think Kevin Durant is gonna take. He's gonna take a hit for if with this loss in this series. It ain't gonna be nobody else taking a hit but Kevin Durant and probably Ime Udoka. They're gonna take a big hit because of the way the Rockets have played lackluster in these 3 games. So that's my thoughts on that. I'm definitely gonna be watching that game 4 just to see what happens with the Rockets. Can they steal a game? Can they get one game, or will they get the brooms out and be swept? Damn, boy, what a way! And that would add to the LeBron James resume. 41-year-old LeBron James lead his injured, riddled Lakers team to a sweep over the Rockets. Boy, you know that's going to be, boy, ESPN ain't going to stop talking about that. I can already hear Screaming A. Smith and everybody. Oh, they're going to be going in. Ooh, wait. So hopefully, maybe the Rockets can get one game, and we'll see what happens with that. So we're going to stay in basketball. We're going to switch over to a little bit of entertainment news. Man, this popped up on my alerts probably about 45 minutes ago. Say it ain't so. Say it isn't so. The thrill is gone, ladies and gentlemen. The thrill is gone. According to reports, Megan Thee Stallion and Mavericks guard Klay Thompson has called it a wraps. I got to give a shout out to my cousin, CJ Henderson, my little cousin. Hey, CJ, I'm going to tag you in this too. Hey, your crush she's single again, CJ. Yeah, you can get at her now again. I think you got a shot, fam, just to let you know. Let me find this article. Yeah, man. So Megan Thee Stallion and Klay Thompson she actually called it off. According to reports, Klay Thompson, he still want to run a fast break with other teammates. And I ain't talking about male teammates either. I'm talking about he trying to get him another starting 5 so he can run. So according to Megan, that's what she said. So let me read the exact article. This is from Yahoo Sports. The relationship between Klay Thompson and Megan Thee Stallion is over after less than a year of officially dating. The rap star aired out a litany of grievances on her Instagram story on Saturday, accusing the Dallas Mavericks guard of cheating on her and other assorted mistreatment during the NBA season. The full statement, which doesn't specifically mention Thompson by name, but really couldn't be about anyone else. Now, this is the statement that Megan Thee Stallion released. It says, and I quote, cheating had me around cheating had me around your whole family playing house. Got cold feet. Holding you down through all your horrible mood swings and treatment towards me during your basketball season. Now you don't know if you can be monogamous. The B word, it's the female dog. That's what she says. I need a real break after this one. Bye, y'all. Megan later released a statement to Page 6 confirming she has broken up with Thompson. I've made the decision to end my relationship with Klay. Trust, fidelity, and respect are non-negotiable for me in a relationship. And when those values are compromised, there's no real path forward, Megan told Page 6 in a statement. I'm taking this time to prioritize myself and move ahead with peace and clarity. That was a statement from Megan Thee Stallion to Page 6. Now, the couple had confirmed their relationship last July after a cryptic Instagram post with Thompson in the background of one of Megan's photos. They had since been very public with their relationship and even indicated they had moved in together last October. The breakup comes at a sensitive time professionally for Thompson in particular, as he posted arguably the worst season of his career with the Dallas Mavericks in 2025, 2026, and turned 36 a couple of months ago. It's unclear how much longer he will be playing until retirement. He's under contract with Dallas for one more year with a $17.5 million salary for 2026, 2027. But it sure looks like Megan won't be part of that journey. Again, that was from Yahoo Sports. Megan and Clay have called it quits. My thoughts on it: celebrity relationships, man, they go and come pretty much like the weather changes in Texas. I actually, I thought they made a. I thought that they were so opposite. I thought they made a good couple. I really did. Didn't follow them like that. I really wasn't following her on Instagram, just seeing what all they doing. But I was like, okay, that's cool. They totally different. I think that's totally different. They both were dating someone totally different than they had in their past. I don't know much about Klay Thompson's dating life. I know Megan, she was dating Trey Lorenz, and that whole shooting incident went down, and I think she had, connected to another rapper or so. So I guess, I thought they probably thought that, what, we're so far different, maybe this is working. And it sounded like it did work up until the basketball season started, I guess. And then Clay, his season was pretty much in the toilet, as well as the Maverick season. And I guess things just didn't work out the way they thought they would. So again, if you missed it, my entertainment news for tonight, according to Megan Thee Stallion, she slam dunked Klay Thompson. Yeah, not that kind of slam dunk. She slam dunked and called it a quit. It's in overtime. It went to overtime, and she decided, I'm out of here. So we'll see what happens next. A lot of times these things happen, knee-jerk reactions. You never know. They may end up getting back together. Who knows? But that's a wrap for Megan Thee Stallion and Klay Thompson. Again, my fam, CJ, who actually lives in Houston, my little cousin. Again, he's a big Megan Thee Stallion fan. He's one of his crushes. So she's available, CJ. Again, I probably tag you in this. If you watch this, you probably already know. You got a shot. You got a shot, fam. Go ahead and go for it again. So we'll see what happens. Right now, we're looking at the Nuggets and the T-Wolves. They are on ABC, and it is the T-Wolves up 64-63 right now in the third. So I'm going to finish watching that. Again, you have been watching the Saturday Sports Buzz with your boy Kendrick, the Sports Hustle. You can catch me here pretty much every Saturday. Your boy, I don't do much. I like to, sports is my passion. And so this is what I do on Saturday nights. So you can catch up with some of the latest sports happenings that happen in the week. And as well, again, we talked to NFL draft that just finished up. Talked to NBA. Finished just talking about some entertainment news. And but like I said, you can catch me here on Saturday nights, 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. You can also make sure if you haven't already, subscribe to the YouTube channel, Kendrick Sports Hustle, as well as TFG Sports Media, as you see right there in the ticker. You can make sure you like and follow them both on Facebook. Also, you can follow me on Instagram at Kendrick1969 and follow me on TikTok at Kendrick Henderson 51. Where, if you haven't followed me on TikTok, do your brother a solid. I'm almost at 4,000 followers on TikTok. I think I need like 39 followers. So if you haven't followed me on TikTok and you are on that platform, please do me a favor. It doesn't cost you a dime. Go follow your brother, your good brother Kendrick, the sports guy on TikTok, so I can get to that 4,000 threshold on my way to 5,000 and on my way to 10,000. Because it don't stop, won't stop. Damn. I said something that Diddy said, didn't I? Well, you can take it from me. I ain't doing none of that Diddyism stuff. But I like that can't stop, won't stop. I do like that saying. I have to say that Diddy, yeah, but Diddy probably was saying that for some other, you know what? Before I'll go down a rabbit hole and back myself in a corner, I'm going to put that thing in reverse on that. I'm gonna back out, and I'm gonna move to a different parking space because I'm getting ready to move up out of here anyway before I get to talking too much. So shout out to my Packers. We ain't have. Oh yeah, before we get out of here, I gotta mention this. I ran across the NFL real quick. Again, draft ended tonight, but the opponents for the team, your team, they are already out. So we already know who we playing. In the next couple of weeks, the NFL will announce the games, what time and where they will be played, and all that. But we do know who our opponents are. And I gotta mention this, and I went and Googled this. I gotta give a shout out to my good brothers, Sean. Yesterday we were talking about it. So here are the Packers' opponents for 2026. We already know we play the Bears twice, the Lions twice, and the Vikings twice. We know we play them at home. So we know we got them at home once. So here are the other teams that we have at home. We got the Falcons. I'm meaning the Packers. We got the Falcons, the Carolina Panthers, the Buffalo Bills, the Miami Dolphins, and we got both them Texas teams at home. We got them damn Dallas Cowboys and the Houston Texans. Don't know the date nor the time, but we do know those are our home opponents, and I can't wait to get them damn Cowboys at Lambeau Field North. Because we already know AT&T is Lambeau Field South. That's what I call it. But they get to come to Lambeau Field North this year, as well as the Houston Texans. So those are our 2026 home opponents. Our away opponents, again, we go to Chicago, we go to Detroit, we go to Minnesota, obviously. We go to the Saints. The Packers go to the Buccaneers, go to the Patriots, go to the Jets, and go to the Rams. So those are the away and home games for the Green Bay Packers in 2026. Again, if I could, I wish I would have highlighted the damn Dallas Cowboys. More than anybody on the home opponents, that's the one I'm circling. Yeah. Cowboys fans. There's quite a few that I gotta. I'm. You know what? I'm gonna be quiet. I'm not gonna say a whole lot this year. You know what? I'm not telling the truth. I can't be quiet when we play the Cowboys. I'm gonna run my mouth. You know I am. I said I was gonna kick back a little bit and chill. Nah, I ain't. Can't do that when we play the Cowboys. Now the Texans, that's a whole different ball game. I like the Texans. I don't dislike the Cowboys. Some of the Cowboys fans get on my doggone nerves. I don't really dislike the Cowboys, but I like to make them eat crow though. I do. As far as the Texans, man, that team. They got some dogs, especially on the defensive side of the football. So I'm definitely going to be a little leery about playing them. But at least we got them at home. But we're gonna have to be ready. We got to be battle tested when we play them doggone Houston Texans. And so yeah, that's what we got to look forward to. Excuse me. So I can't wait for the NFL season to kick off. So again, I'm Kendrick, the sports guy. This has been your Saturday night sports buzz with your good brother. Again, make sure if you haven't subscribed to the channel, Kendrick Sports Hustle, make sure you subscribe to TFG Sports Media. If you haven't, go over there. TFG Media has some content, some shows. The Real Estate Insider with Lamar Falk. We got Charles Uncensored. We got TFG Uncut Uncensored. I think, man, there's so many different shows you can check out on celebrity homes, Atlanta mansions, sports mansions. So, man, go check out some of the channels and subscribe to them on TFG Media Group. And you won't be disappointed. You will be entertained. I guarantee that. So, again, that's a wrap for me tonight. You guys enjoy the rest of your Saturday night. I hope you have a great Sunday and a great work week coming up. Again, we will catch you later on. I'm going to be posting some content probably on tomorrow, possibly. But again, you'll catch me really ramping back up my posting content on Thursday of next week, because Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday is kind of tough for me to post stuff because I watch my grandson, my 7-month-old grandson, who I'm going to have as a guest. He'll be 8 months old next week. He's going to be my special guest one Saturday night. We're going to see how that goes. I may have to tape something. I don't know. My grandson, he ready to pick up stuff and throw stuff now. So we're gonna see if we can make it happen. I'm gonna have my grandson as a special guest one night with me here on Saturday Night Sports Buzz with his pop. So that's enough of that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you all enjoy the show. If you watch this later, make sure you comment. Make sure you let me know where you watched it from. Also, share it to your social media platforms and subscribe to the channels, like I said again, Kendrick Sports Hustle as well as TFG Sports Media. So again, I am Kendrick the Sports Guy. We will see you on the other side and on the next live stream. Check out some of my reports on my YouTube channel as well as on my Facebook page as well. Again, y'all be safe. Peace, love, and light. I'm out. Deuces.